Hello guys, welcome back to the forest. In this week's video, I'm going to be looking at Pokemon from Gen 9 that have been revealed and guessing their Pokemon TCG cards. Many cards in the TCG, like Ho-Oh, have returning gimmicks, and I will be guessing these Pokemon's gimmicks based on their entries and the current information we have about the Pokemon. If you don't see a Pokemon in today's video that you believe should be in here, check out last video and see if it's in there instead. Now let's get on to the video. Now Ceruledge is a really cool Pokemon and almost makes me a Team Violet, but I am Team Scarlet all the way because he looks like a bird and he is acting like a lizard. I am entranced by him. Let me know down below whether you're Team Scarlet or Team Violet. Anyways, I see Ceruledge being printed more as a ghost type, which is the psychic type in the Pokemon TCG, to reflect its color scheme a little bit more. And I also think that unlike Armarouge, which was in last time's video, Ceruledge will have attacks that are more based upon grudges, because the Pokemon entries talk about it holding bitter grudges. So any grudge-based attack, like the number of Pokemon in your discard pile increasing its attack power, the opponent having taken more prize cards than you, the number of Pokemon in play or cards in hand of your opponents being greater than yours, increasing Ceruledge's damage output. Ceruledge also has the signature move, Bitter Blade, which is an attack that absorbs energy from the opponent after it attacks it. I feel like this attack heals a certain amount of damage from Ceruledge when he uses the attack. I also can see Ceruledge's attack accelerating energy from the discard. One last thing I can see is making an attack that inflicts status conditions. It is not a fair fighter, and poisoning your opponent or burning or throwing sand in their eyes is all fair game to Ceruledge, and I can definitely see it having attacks that have secondary effects like those. Now, Cyclizar is a Pokemon that I'm kinda curious to see in the Pokemon TCG due to it being fast and having a signature move, Shed Tail, where it damages itself to create a substitute and then switches into a fresh new Pokemon. And that would be very interesting to see how it translates into the TCG. A couple of ways I can see that being implemented is with the Strafe attack. Strafe attacks are typically attacks that just do damage and then switch to the bench. But I can see Cyclizar doing more than just that. Perhaps Cyclizar will damage itself in order to heal the Pokemon that is coming in. I don't think that's necessarily a great attack, but it matches its signature move very well. I could also see it going and searching your deck for a special type of substitute or tool card that can only be put into play with its attack. I can also see that not working out very good, but it would also make a lot of sense. I can also see Cyclizar getting the much coveted Rush in ability, especially if it has a low retreat cost. Rush-in is a really wonderful ability. It would be really nice to see Cyclizar be blessed with this ability. Gimmighoul is a recently revealed Pokemon that has two distinct forms, a roaming form and a chest form. I can see both of them playing very specific types of roles within the Pokemon TCG and being printed having different gimmicks assigned to them. A thing I can see both of the cards being related to is having a special item card called a coin. It might not end up being very good, but the Gimmighouls could interact with it in interesting ways. Like, they can search it out from the deck, and if they find a certain number from, let's say, the top cards of the deck, they do X amount of damage. That would be a very interesting thing to see. I also think I can see Gimmighoul being a Pokemon that searches the prize cards or your deck for a certain card as an attack, or maybe an ability, and if it is an ability, it gets discarded or lost zoned after using it. I can also see it being a switching mechanic between a bulkier chest form that it has slower retreat cost and more HP, and the lighter, more agile roaming form between the deck, like Deoxys has done in the past. Because of the story that was introduced alongside Gimmighoul about controlling other people in order to collect coins for them, I can see Gimmighoul attacks working in a very similar manner, that if there are more opponent Pokemon, Gimmighoul attacks do more damage, thus creating a type of control that is on your side It would also be very interesting that if it had an ability where once during turn, or when you use the ability the turn ends, that you draw a number of cards from your deck to fill up your hand to match the number of opposing Pokemon in play. Or maybe just all Pokemon in play in general if it is balanced heavily enough, because it made all the minions do its bidding to go collect gold, aka cards from your deck. And last but not least, we have Grafaiai, the poison normal type Smeargle lookalike. It's very obvious from reading its Pokedex entries that it will have a lot of things to do with poisoning opponents or increasing damage of opponents being poisoned, but it'd be interesting to see Grafaiai do similar things like Smeargle has done in the past, perhaps using the opponent's past supporter as the first attack. Because of its Pokedex entry talking about how when it senses danger, its toxicity increases, perhaps it will have an ability that increases the poison damage counters on the active Pokemon depending on the number of Pokemon they have in play. I also think that it will either have an attack or an ability relating to poison, whether it poison opponents through attacking or indirect means. Perhaps they play a certain card or have item cards in their discard pile allowing you to poison their active Pokemon. Either way, Grafaiai will definitely be the poison type archetype Pokemon in the upcoming Generation 9 TCG. That's it for this video. I hope you had a wonderful time watching it today, and if you did, please be sure to share this video, hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below talking about whether you're Team Scarlet or Violet. I will see you in the forest next time. Bye!